So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin with a story. Okay. So just to introduce myself, my name is Komal Shah. I am a co-founder and content head for LawSikho. I am a qualified CS since way back in 2000. And I also cleared my law after that, 2 years after that. So I did my law after I did CS actually. Okay. At that time, you did not have the entrance tests of CLAT and everything. You could take up the law degree if you had cleared your graduation. Okay. So let me have a look at let us delve into this combination basically of LLB and CS and how it works for someone. Okay, so I'm going to talk of my journey a little bit, and I'm going to talk of what is happening now a little bit, because obviously what I did or what happened to me as a student is way, way, way old for us to take a reference. But let's look at certain things. Okay. So this is where I began. I had someone in the family who referred my parents, and my parents were, it's very normal that happens, that you are doing law or you are doing commerce and you are kind of looking for guidance on what to do next. Okay. You're looking for what should be the better career path to take. Okay. At that stage of time, I had this uncle who told my parents that, you should do the CS course and it has a very good scope. Okay. And the great part of it, or the good part of it, is that he was an ex-president of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. Okay. So naturally, he knew what he was talking about at that point of time. And my parents, both of whom belong to a science background, like I'm the only person who would take law, who had taken law in the family. I'm sure many of you are in this position that we are first generation lawyers from the family. Okay, we are first generation lawyers. We don't have any reference points. We don't have our parents who are in law. We don't have people who we can reach out to for mentoring or guidance. Right. So I was also in that position, and my parents obviously listened to him when he said that, you should do this course, because he was an ex-president of the ICSI. He knew obviously he was talking about what he was talking about. Okay. But many people who are in that position, who were in that position with me, okay, they did not have any kind of mentoring or guidance available at that point of time. So what happened with them? Okay, neither, like I said, neither of my parents had anything to do with commerce or law. The only thing that they heard was that there was a CA course and how difficult it was. My mom is a science graduate. My dad is an engineer. Okay, neither of them had any connection with this area, right? So this is what happened. But many people who were with me, they were doing the CS course, okay, not with a view to actually become a company secretary, or not with a view even to derive any knowledge out of it and use it into something else. They were not doing it for that reasons at all. They had no clue what company secretaries did. They had no clue where they would end. They had no clue, what are the day-to-day functions of a company secretary. They just took it for a point not to look unemployed after graduation. Because if you have cleared your graduation and you don't seem to have any worthwhile employment, okay, then you want to fill the gap with the studies. That was what the situation was at that time. Okay, so they were just doing it not to look unemployed, and they had no clue, no intention of becoming a company secretary. Okay, so this was the situation when I took, or when I was a student. But naturally, fast forward so many years down, you don't need to function in that state. Okay, you don't have to refer to mandatorily any family members or your friends, or you don't have to look for reference points inside. You have a lot of information available at your fingertips. We did not have so much an explosion of the information which we could actually browse through, which we could check, which we could confirm before we took a career path. So the default reference back was someone in the family, someone who had maybe reached some success, at some stage and, had gone, was aware of how things worked. Okay. You have more than adequate information available at your fingertips to decide, right? So you can check, you can confirm, that every next step that you are taking, everything that you're doing now, okay, is it taking you closer to your goal? Now, many people again have this confusion that if you ask, people, what is your goal? So then their view is that I want to first of all intern at a smaller firm, and I want to gain experience, or I want to do CS and get some knowledge, and then I will see, like, if I want to take this area or that area. That unfortunately is a journey or a part to it. Okay. So that is not an end goal. If you decide as a next step as the end goal, then that's not how it's going to work for it. Okay. So you have to fix, or you have to decide where exactly you want to end, or where exactly it is that you want to reach at a particular point of time. You have to fix a long-term goal, that this is where I want to end. Okay. And in today's age, you have a lot of information even to be able to decide your end goal. Okay, that whether that goal is worthwhile, whether it makes sense, whether next few years it is going to work out for you or not. The tragedy that happened with the likes of me when we started to do CS, there was an IPO boom in the country. Okay, so there were so many initial public offerings, public issues coming, that there was a shortage of company secretaries at that point of time. Okay, because you needed someone at that point to naturally ensure all of the compliances for the initial public offerings, to help in drafting of the documents, okay, to be there at the compliance angle and look after the things. There weren't adequate company secretaries available, and because of that, the CSs who were there at that time, they were able to command extraordinary salaries. Some practicing company secretaries who supported those initial public offerings, they made their houses, okay, with the consultancy. And I'm not joking. I know people, they made their houses, they built, they could purchase property from the earnings that they got by advising IPOs. So this was the status at that time. So naturally, the person who guided me said that do this course, it's like a boom. And I put 3.5 years into it. I qualified through the foundation route, and I was doing CS together with my graduation, right? And a year after my graduation, I qualified as the CS. And by that time, the situation had changed topsy-turvy. Okay, because you had at that point of time no or very few initial public offerings coming. Okay, very few entities wanting to become listed, very few people who were looking at compliance based roles. And so when I qualified at that time, there was a really poor situation, because everyone went to the company secretaryship course, seeing, like, the boom in in the economy and requirement for IPOs and everything, and seeing that people can command any kind of salaries that they want, because there is a requirement to have a company secretary. Okay. And when they qualified, there were hardly, like, much decent opportunities available. Okay. So now what happened is, and at that time, like, law wasn't that glamorous a profession. Okay, because you would think of lawyers in terms of a very long career track. People would say that it will take something like 7 years for you to make any sense to become a lawyer and land something worthwhile. Okay, so that duration from when you started to the grind work, that span was 7 years at my time. Okay, so people were not looking at law as a very viable profession at that point of time. But now, obviously, like, the situation is very much changed. It is, if you decide actually to go if you decide actually to go with law, okay, and if you specialize in certain areas, if you have a very good vision of where you want to go in the legal field, you can have a very good career very quickly. Okay, because some areas are really niche. You wouldn't probably find many lawyers in those areas. Okay, so the situation now is obviously different, very different. People could start with a career of law. At my point of time, no one would think of starting with a career of law. Okay, you did law as an addition to something, but now obviously, you can own up, or you can take up law as a full blown career, and the period between which you clear and within which you start to be successful is not as long, definitely. Okay, so what happened, like, after that, what we are trying to achieve is, now if you start with law, okay, and if you keep law as the end in your mind, that's where you want to go. You want to keep that as the end in your mind. Does the CS course help you? Okay, this is what we are trying to arrive at. So at the end of the session, we will have a very clear idea whether it makes sense to take up the CS course when you begin with law and you have the end in mind as a law, okay, as a law legal area. You want to be a corporate lawyer. Okay, now does CS help with that? That's what we're going to look at. Okay, I have some questions. Which area to choose when it comes to LLB, or which subject is good to do specialization in? We're not actually talking about that right now, right? It can be any area of law which looks futuristic, which works for you, and even for that matter, which really you resonate with. Okay, some areas which very obviously visible to people if you read, and like I'm saying, you have lots of tons of information available to you, which you can Google, you can search through lots of different platforms and find out, right? There are many areas like technology, there are many areas like insolvency, which is currently, although in a comma, but is bound to pick up at some point of time later. Area like recovery, which were dead, but now picked up because of, the change in circumstances. So things like this will always be there. M&A, these kinds of things will always be there. Okay. Let us focus on the path or the direction of the presentation. I am pretty sure that you will have lots of answers through the presentation itself. So we will come to the questions somewhere in the middle and we will look at it. Okay. So here what we are trying to arrive at, or what we are trying to conclude, is that if we want to end up as a corporate lawyer, does the CS course help you? Okay. This is what we are trying to analyze, and we are trying to arrive at a decision. So when you want to move anywhere, the first step is to decide the destination. Obviously, only then you look at the means to it. Like I said, many people will confuse that the next step is the destination, but that's not the destination. That's the means towards it. So you want to look at where you want to end up. Okay. Many people want to end up doing corporate law in a law firm. So you want to say that we want to end up working as a corporate level, as a corporate lawyer in a law firm. Okay. Or we want to end up as an in-house legal counsel. Okay. So does the CS help for us or not? People say we need 9 months to prepare for CLAT. I'm in first year of BCom and CS executive. I'm thinking about law. Okay. let's look at the things. Okay. So now, if we believe that, because you hear, the topic is simply that does CS help you to be a corporate lawyer? We are probably looking for a job as a corporate lawyer in a law firm, or we are looking to end as a GC or an in-house counsel in-house. Okay. Either one of that we are looking probably as the end or as our destination. Okay. Let's take how many of you are in this zone. Okay. How many of you want to end up as an in-house counsel or work in-house as a corporate lawyer in a company? How many of you are in that zone? Just write yes in the chat so that we can find out. Many people want to end in-house. Very good, brilliant. Many people who wants to work as a corporate lawyer in a law firm, right? Law firm. I want to end up as a corporate lawyer in a law firm, Gen Corp or M&A departments, right? Law firm in the chat. Law firm is what I want to, where I want to end up. Okay, 2 people. How many people want to end up in a law firm? There are loads of people who want to end up in a law firm also as a corporate lawyer, right? Okay, now here's the question. Here's the banger. How many people want to end up as the company secretary of a company? Okay, right? CS. I want to end up as the company secretary of a company, right? CS. No CS. Okay, Praveen Sharma wants to end up as CS. Okay. 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 Not sure. Okay. We will deal with that also, Avantika. So quite a few people want to end up as the CS, as the company secretary of a company as well. Again, Riddhi is saying not sure. So people are doubtful. Okay, they are not sure, but quite few people are certain that they want to end up as a corporate lawyer or as an in-house legal counsel. Okay, very good. Want to work in a law firm doing CS compliances. Okay. How many of you want to practice as a company secretary? I want to practice as a company secretary. PCS, right? PCS. I want to practice as a company secretary, right? PCS, Riddhi is there, but Riddhi, you are doubtful. Okay, Ujjwala, yes. 2 PCS. Very clearly, that is not a very favored choice. Okay, so you're not sure if you want to act as a PCS. There are loads of people who want to work in-house, loads of people who want to work. Okay, there are quite a few PCS as well. Very good. Okay. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so let's look at all the 4 destinations. Okay, all these 4 are your chosen destinations. So now let's look how we want to go about it. Okay, so many want to land a job as a corporate lawyer. Many want to land a job in-house as a legal counsel as well. Okay, so let's see, and does it work? Now, have you checked what these people do, where you want to end? Have you checked what in-house legal counsels do? Have you checked what corporate lawyers in a law firm do? Have you checked what PCSs do? Have you checked what company secretaries in a company do? Have you found out that? And does that resonate with what you want to do? Yeah, Pawan has found out. Who else has found out? What do the people do? What do these people whom you want to end up as do? Okay. Huzaifa, yes, yes. Very good. Can someone share some of the tasks that corporate lawyers in a law firm do? Mergers, Vanalika said, but mergers is a very broad term. Vanalika, it can be a lot of activities. It can cover a lot of activities. Looking into contracts, due diligence. That's what lawyers in a corporate law firm do, okay? What about lawyers in-house? Okay, in-house, many people are saying due diligence. Okay. How many of you were there in Ramanuja's session of what work do corporate lawyers do? You know, that's where he discussed all of these things, JV, private equity. He discussed very clearly what corporate lawyers do. See, this is also there. Pawan, again, many people are not clear. They want to just end a decent job and earn money. Okay. They are not sure, want to end as a law firm lawyer, want to end as an in-house lawyer. It's the money. Okay. Advising client on myriad issues and representing them before different authorities, structuring transactions. Okay. That's what law firm corporate lawyers do. What about people in-house who are in-house? Okay, lawyers who are in-house in legal roles, what do they do? What do in-house lawyers do? What do GCs do? Lots of research to serve your clients. That is all law firm. What about in-house lawyers? Drafting, agreement, okay. What else? give advice on different areas of law. You will have to do it, not just give advice. You will have to ensure things as an in-house people. See that the company acts according to all laws, making closures, work for the firm to earn money, dealing multiple clients. Many people have a lot of different ideas and you have checked, okay? So now you must check when you're looking at a stream of studies, okay? You must check what is it in that stream or what is it in that program that enables you to do that work. Correct? That much at least you should check. Otherwise, like, you will not know whether that's going to aid your journey. It's going to actually help you. Okay. You want to end at a particular destination. So then you have to check that the train that's going takes you there. Okay. You can't just sit in some another train just for the experience of it, because many people have said that it's a very good experience to sit in the train because it's taking you somewhere completely different. Okay. So you want to have something that is adding on, okay, or that is contributing to where you want to be and the work that you want to do. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to check if the CS program aids in, okay, or supports what you want to do or where you want to end up, and how fast can you end up there with the help of the CS degree or the CS program. Okay, that is what we are going to do. Okay, because we are very clear, we know where we want to end, we know what we are going to be supposed to do when we reach there. Okay, so now we will see if this thing which we are considering prepares us to reach there or prepares us to do that work. Okay, so let's look at what the CS course covers. I'll come out of the slide and I'll go into the website here of ICSI. Okay, now if you look at the way the training in the CS program is shaped, okay, and by the way, just one thing before even I get into the syllabus, just think of the logic or the sense of the ICSI. Like if it is an institute for company secretaries, what would it look to do? What would it look to create? Okay, it will look to create company secretaries. It will look to create better importance for people who are holding the designation as a company secretary. Correct? That much should be the goal of the institute, because that's the purpose why it is there. Okay. And it will look at creating more opportunities for people who are designated or holding the position as a company secretary. They'll start to lobby to, like, keep the limit or have, it mandatory in the Companies Act to have a company secretary. They'll start, like, to look at creating opportunities like secretarial audit for the members. They will start to look at, training the members in insolvency, becoming insolvency professionals, or providing advice on GST, all of that. But all of that, their focus will be that the people who are designated as company secretaries, either they are holding the position as CS in a company, or they are practicing as company secretaries. These people, okay, should get more importance, or there should be more of such people, or these people should get more importance. That's what the goal of the institute will be. Whenever it is framing a training program, it will be in accordance with that. They will not frame a training program that contributes to the career of a corporate lawyer, because they want more people to be occupying the designation of a CS or to be practicing as a CS and gaining more clients, gaining more income. Legitimately, that is the purpose of the institute, right? So let's look at the syllabus now. And we can, like, look what really works for us or what really helps us. Okay. It is basically divided in 3 parts. So you have foundation, which will help you to get into that course before you finished the graduation. Okay, so you finish your foundation, then you get into the executive program, and thereafter the last is the professional program. That's how it is divided. Okay, and there are very good subjects in the CS program, no doubt about it. Like, you will find subjects, some of the subjects which are really good. They can help you to learn quite a few things, no doubt about it. Okay, there is no doubt that this is there. They also have a requirement of mandatory training. Okay, if you want to get the CS degree, now they've also started a certificate called a Secretarial Executive Certificate, which you can get when you pass the executive exam. But if you want to get the ACS degree, you have to clear all of these things, including the mandatory training for 2 years. Okay, so you have to clear this. You have to do this in order to be able to get an ACS degree. Okay, there is nothing like, you can choose what you want to do. There is nothing like you can choose what subjects you want to do. You have to do all of that. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look quickly at what helps, what you would have to do if you want to get the CS degree, the ACS degree. Okay, and then how it contributes to the corporate lawyer intention which we have in our mind. Okay, so let's look at the division here. If you look at executive, you have these things: the jurisprudence, interpretation, and general laws. This is something you will very well be exposed to in your law degree as well. Okay, definitely you will have topics, or you will gain exposure to jurisprudence, interpretation, and general laws. Okay, company law, I am pretty sure in the later years, maybe not in the first year, but in the later years, you get exposed to company law as well. Setting up of business entities and closure, maybe this exact topic will not be there in your law degree. Okay, you would probably gain something out of it. Tax laws, again, it may not be to an extent that is covered in the CS degree for sure. But look at the other things here. There are some other things here which might interest you. Corporate and management accounting. Definitely you do not have this, like, in your law, and definitely you don't have, you're not going to be drawing up accounts, company accounts, like how you would if you were doing a CS executive program. But again, let's look at how it is contributing to our dream of ending up as a corporate lawyer or ending up as an in-house legal counsel. Are you going to be expected? Are you going to be expected to draw up accounts? Okay, technical accounts. There may be some aspects of accounting that you need to understand. For sure, if you are a tax lawyer, you need to understand. Okay, but that is not something that will need you to sit through this exam and clear it to the required extent. You can learn that. You can learn, some parts of accounting that will be required if you want to function as a corporate lawyer. Okay, you don't need to sit through an exam to do that. Okay, it is a requisite in a CS program because company secretaries of the companies are expected to sign the financial statements. So if they don't have a deeper understanding of that, they cannot be someone who are authenticating financial statements. Okay, so it's a very much a necessity for them. For corporate lawyers, it's not so much of a necessity. There's an extent to which you will need to know. Okay, you will need to understand. It's not that, like, you can afford completely to ignore that. You will need to understand, but you don't need to you may not be required to draw up accounts. Okay, here it goes into a little bit more depth, obviously, because they are required to authenticate it. Okay, securities laws and capital markets. Sure, you need this as a corporate lawyer. You will need to understand securities. You will need to understand cap marks. Economic, business, and commercial laws. Again, these kinds of things, like, you will find in your law course. You will have it in your law program for itself. You will have this. Financial and strategic management. Where will you be required to do the financial management of a client as a corporate lawyer? Think of this. But if you want to get the ACS degree, you have to do all this. You will have to do all this. Otherwise, you can't get the ACS degree. Okay, same here. Look at that. Governance, risk management, compliance, ethics. Okay. Advanced tax laws. You may not be handling tax laws. Tax laws is a very different department in a law firm. Okay, it will not be covered within the Gen Corp or M&A teams or something which you want to end up. It'll be a very different or a separate department. okay, which will look at that aspect or that part of a transaction. Drafting, pleading, appearance, sure, you need that. Secretarial audit, you need to know how to conduct secretarial audit if you want to end up as a corporate lawyer. Okay, so I'm not looking at each of, even if like, I ignore, let's assume that all the subjects or anywhere, somewhere is contributing to your knowledge, it is adding up to your knowledge, it is doing like, you are getting something out of it, sure. But the syllabus of this program is drawn up with the objective to aid someone who's going to function as a company secretary or someone who's going to function as a PCS. It is not drawn up in accordance to aid someone who's going to work as a corporate lawyer. That's the point I'm trying to make. Okay. A company secretary will need all of this to the depth. For sure, they will need all of this. Okay, but a lawyer may not need all of this. It depends on where you want to end up, right? That's the point I'm trying to make. They have drawn it up to suit someone who's going to function as a company secretary in a company or who's going to be practicing as a PCS, because that's what the institute is looking to do, right? What are the questions that I have? Would tax lawyers benefit from CS course? Yeah. So 2, 4, 6, 8 are my favorite. Yeah, well, like, I mean, definitely these are all subjects that contribute to your knowledge, but is it going to add up, or is it going to like, and is it going to contribute to your destination where you want to end up as a corporate lawyer or where you want to end up as an in-house legal counsel? Okay, they have drawn it up in a way that it aids someone who's going to occupy the position of a company secretary or is going to practice as a company secretary. Okay, that's what I was trying to come to when I opened the syllabus. Okay. What is your reason for doing the course? Now, this is very, very, very important. And I have kind of tried to cover all the reasons that people have given me so far when I speak to them in conversations. Many students are simply influenced by what their parents, relatives, or friends suggest. Okay, despite there being more information, obviously, like, you think you rely on these people. Okay, and you think what they're saying, it makes sense, then you try to accept it. Okay, so many people are relying simply on this. Never clearly thought about doing CS, to be honest. Yeah, so we are trying to clearly think. We are trying to clearly think and we are trying to analyze if it's going to work, okay, for where we want to end. So the first thing, like I said, that you have to do is to plan up where you want to end. And then you see whether something is contributing to it. And if it's going to spur your growth to that place, it's going to speed up your growth to that place, or it's not going to do that. Okay. Law plus, we'll come to that questions. Titiksha, will come to that question, definitely. Okay, what the industry views it or how the industry looks at it, we'll come to that also. But here we're looking at the reasons. Many students are simply doing that because they believe their friends, someone guided their friends, someone guided their parents or relatives that this is a good place to begin. There are lots of good things. It is a very comprehensive course. You can gain a lot of knowledge. You can get a good degree, which looks really nice against your name. Okay, all of these things will be kind of spoken. Okay. Can practice either as a CS or lawyer. What according to you is better practice? Okay, so now let's move to the other thing. Now, students often undertake multiple professional courses just as a backup. See, this is also there. Like, I have cleared law from a place, but like I haven't been able actually to land any really great employment, or what I'm doing is not really paying me up much. So let me do the CS program and get an ACS degree, because it's going to be a backup for me for earning money. Okay, because if I qualify as a CS and there is a mandate in the Companies Act that companies have to employ CS. Okay, so at least I will have some backup or standby for earning money. Many people will do this also because of this, like, that if I don't succeed as a lawyer, then this degree can help me at least to get a job somewhere as a company secretary. and put some bread on the table, put some money on the table. Okay, this can be one of the reasons also why people do it. What is a good reason, what is not a good reason, we'll come to it. Okay, but these are the reasons which I am trying to discuss, and you have to think what reason you fall in. You have to think which of these categories you fall in. Why are you doing it? Why do you want to do it? Okay, which category you fall in here. Okay, there are very rare people who are determined to practice as a company secretary or be employed as a company secretary in an in-house role. Not that there are not people like that. I have met many people who wanted to practice. They were determined, they wanted to practice as a CS. That's it. That's the destination that they had decided. In fact, one of my trainees, when I was a partner in a CS firm, quite a few years back, okay, and this guy was a trainee with me. He was an intern with me. He was in the apprenticeship training that the CS Institute provided for at that time. Now he's a practicing company secretary. He has a partnership firm of his own, of PCS, and he is doing very well for himself. He has, like, created properties, commercial, residential properties, everything. But he was very clear that he wanted to practice as a CS. That's what he wanted to do. Okay, and he did not want to be a corporate lawyer. He did not want to end in an in-house legal department. He was very clear he wanted to be a PCS. Okay, there are also people who are very clear that I want to be the company secretary of a company. Okay, so for these people, definitely the CS qualification makes sense, because they want to end up as that, and that's what the institute is grooming them in. Okay, it's grooming them to occupy that position. It's grooming them to develop practice as a PCS. Everything the institute is doing is geared towards this. So definitely it makes sense for them to do this. Okay, these are the people who will take out a lot from the CS course, because they're very clear that this is what they want to do. Okay, now this is another category. I'm doing CS to discipline myself into gaining structured knowledge of corporate law. How many of you are in this zone? I want to become a corporate lawyer, and I find that the program is very disciplined. I will have to give exams. I will have to learn the proper things. So therefore, it is going to help me in, gain a structured knowledge of corporate law. Many people are in this zone as well. Yes, everyone is many people are in this zone. Okay, that I believe that it's going to give me a structured knowledge, and I'm not going to sit down and actually discipline myself to gain the things onto it. But if I do this, then I'll be getting a very structured knowledge. I'll have to sit through the exams. So it will kind of force me to learn. Okay, if I go through this, that's what, many people are thinking. Okay. Now, I am not going to come into return or investment. We'll come to that later on. And I want to share my experience here, and I'm going to come to the return or investment point later on. Okay. I'm going to share my experience of this. Okay. I qualified as a CS first, like I said, and then as a lawyer. And I was working as the company secretary. That's what I wanted to do in the beginning, like when I was working as a company secretary. Okay, so I was working as an associate and a partner of a CS firm. And thereafter, I moved into a company and I handled its initial public offering. Okay, after that, I moved into a company which had which entered into India. Okay, it was a multinational company, and it entered into India. It set up its Indian operations. It had recently started that. Okay, and I had joined in and I worked with them as a company secretary, legal and compliance officer. Okay, but after this, I wanted to move into a legal role. Why? Because I felt that having done or handled an IPO, there were very few things which I would get to handle as a company secretary, which would give me that kind of intellectual satisfaction. It could have been takeover. It could have been amalgamation or merger. At that time, there weren't so many options available at all. Okay, so I started to experience some kind of saturation, and therefore I wanted to move into the in-house legal department of a company. Okay, uh, they were looking for someone in the legal team, and I wanted to move into that team. So I went and met, the in-house lawyer, the GC, and also the person next to him. I would of course join. When I joined, I would not join as the person next to him. After having like done the IPO, I would be joining at a still junior level. Okay, I was very clear about that I will be joining at a junior level, naturally, because that company was a mammoth. It was a huge conglomerate. Okay, but I wanted to get into that company in the legal department. Okay, that is what my intention was when I met them. I told them very clearly that I am looking for a corporate legal role. Okay, I want to I want to be in the legal department of the company. I don't want to be in the CS department. Okay, because I already felt saturated that I had done everything that I could do as a company secretary at that time, having handled an IPO. Okay, there weren't so many things that were there at that time. There weren't lots of complications or laws, or even SEBI wasn't so much of spread at that time. It was like quite early. Okay, so I told them very clearly that I'm looking to go into a corporate legal role, and I'm not going to go into the CS department. Okay, and I went through went through the interview stages, first with the GC and his associate, and then there was one more person, and then I kind of ended up with a director. Okay, a director of the company who was kind of responsible for the legal function. That's where I ended up. Okay, I had a 15-minute interview with the director. That's all the duration that I had. I had the 15-minute interview with the director. Okay, that went well. Everything ended. But what happened after that? This was a huge revelation to me. Okay, so there was no response from the company for a very long period of time. Very long period of time, I couldn't get any answer from the company. So what I did was I actually reached out to the guy who was the associate of the GC. Okay, they were very nice. They were speaking to me very well. So I reached out to this guy and I said that, I reached the director level. I had an interview with the director that went well. And what happened? Okay, so then this guy told me that you said very clearly that you want to work into the in-house legal department. You do not want to work into the CS department. So when we reviewed your experience, I was a qualified lawyer for sure, and I had experience working as a CS. I had a CS degree as well. So he said that when we reviewed your CV from this perspective of whether you could function in the in-house legal department here, the salary that we arrived at was much lower than what you were earning. Okay, this was a huge revelation to me. They told me that the salary that they had arrived at for that in-house legal role was much lower than what I was earning as a CS. Okay, it made it very clear to me that if I wanted to end into the in-house legal department of a company, I had to work in the law stream. I had to function in the law stream. I had to qualify, score big on the law stream, gain experience in the law stream, and not really worry about a CS degree. Okay, even after a CS degree and an experience of handling the IPO, it did not work for me in the in-house legal team of that company, that large conglomerate. Okay, it was a huge revelation to me. It made me think that if I would have started out as a lawyer, I would have focused on law. I would have focused on getting relevant and getting the CS degree. Then I would have scored here. Because they treated that as two very separate things and they did not treat it as connected with each other. It didn't matter to them that I had a CS degree and I had the experience of handling an IPO when I was supposed to function as an in-house lawyer. It did not count for them. Okay. So that was a huge revelation that I should have, if I wanted to end up in a legal field, I should have had started with focus on the law, started with focus on working or gaining that experiences rather than getting a CS degree and, working and gaining experience on that side, because it's treated as two separate things. Okay. So this is what happened to me. They arrived at a salary which was too lower. And then that's why that guy said that we didn't bother to contact you, because like it was no point for you to switch to such a lower salary if you're already drawing this. So, I mean, like, this is what you're saying, that if you want to get into the in-house legal department, that's what you should have in mind right when you start. Okay. And that's where you should add up or build up all your experience to. That's where you should focus on. Okay. And not look into the CS part of it, because it didn't contribute for me. It didn't work for me. Okay. Would you like to know what your potential employers say? Now, this is very relevant. Okay, because we did this, we had this, some videos talking about, does CS help? Many people believe that it's very, very important to work as a corporate lawyer. So we actually went out and we did a survey. Okay, we asked general counsels in lots of different companies. And I can share even the companies that we asked them. I can share the names of the companies also. So these are really, like, they are into diverse groups, diverse fields, and these are reasonably big companies. Okay, they're not like smaller companies. Look at that. It's like Indian Hotels Company, Tata Chemicals, Ambuja Suzlon, Volkswagen, OYO, all levels of companies, all different kinds of companies. We kind of reached out to the general counsels of these companies. Okay, and we asked them a few questions. Okay, just we wanted to find out that how much does the CS degree contribute, okay, to their employment when they are hiring, because these people are the people who are going to be your employers. These are the people who will be your potential employers. So we wanted to find out what they said, and these are the questions that we asked them, and it was answered by 109 top Indian GCs. So these were the questions that we asked. Okay, how many lawyers have you hired in the last 1 year, both full-time and part-time? How many of those lawyers are qualified company secretaries? How many of them have cleared the executive level of CS but did not proceed further? Under what circumstances do you prefer a lawyer with a CS qualification over a lawyer without the qualification? This is something that people are very, very concerned with, that if I add an ACS degree, does it add weight to my job application? Okay. In your opinion, do lawyers with CS qualification make better general counsels? Okay. Because if they think they make better general counsels, then they will hire. Right. There are quite a few questions. 5th year student want to pursue CS. Should I enroll for CS Foundation? Should I wait for my final degree, which I will receive by April 2021 and pursue CS Executive? Okay, let's come to that. I want to discuss all of this, because lots of people are in the confusion. Right now, I'm telling the experience that I had, and also what your potential employers think, so that you can make a better choice. Okay, when you want to decide. We'll come to what path you want to take depending upon where you end up, where you want to end up. Okay. 71 participants, which is 65.1% of the total survey takers, replied that they hired no lawyers who were qualified CS in the last 1 year. Okay. We assume that 21 hired no lawyers at all out of the 109 that we checked with. 21 people didn't hire any lawyers at all. So we will take them out. Even if we take them out, then 50 companies who hired one or more lawyers out of 88 hired no CS candidates at all. So about 57% of them didn't hire any CS plus LLB candidate. Okay. Amongst the companies that hired a lot of lawyers, because there were 12 companies which hired 10 or more lawyers. Okay, in the previous year, and we did this in 2019, so it's not like this is a really old data. Okay, we did this somewhere in the later half of 2019. Okay, so it's quite relevant data. And if at all things would only have gone a little bit lower in the current year because of the pandemic situation, so hiring would itself be quite low. Okay. Now, among the companies which hired a lot of lawyers, 10 or more lawyers they hired in the year, only one said that they hired anyone at all with a CS degree. Okay. So 84 participants, 77% of the takers said that they don't have a non-qualified CS, okay, in the team. And so when it can be said that when they do look for company secretaries, they prefer to go for a qualified CS professional and not the ones who leave it midway. Okay, most companies don't want lawyers with CS qualification. They don't really need it. Okay, it's not that they don't want, they don't need it. They don't feel the need that, you know, you should have a CS degree together with law. They don't feel that need. Okay, few of them want that, but in that case, they want a fully qualified person. Probably not someone with a secretarial executive certificate, a fully qualified person with an ACS degree. Okay, and not just the executive level knowledge. Okay, they are very, very clear that they want someone who's fully qualified. So now look at this. Okay, you want to, even if you want to end up with these companies, let's assume that you want to end up with these companies which actually favor, okay, company secretaries having, you know, you having law plus CS qualification, you want to end up with them. Even then, what you need to realize is that you have to clear all the papers, whether you're going to use them or not. You have to complete all the trainings, whether you're going to use them in your work or not. Only then you get the ACS degree. So just think of the time that you have to put in. Okay. Even if you assume that you are doing the training together with your qualification, in the minimum, it will take you 3 years. Okay, to do this. And if you are doing law together with CS, okay, like I did my commerce together with CS, you're doing law together with CS. Okay, you're doing this as a part within your 5 years course. What this will do is that it will make you work on papers or it will make you work in areas which you may not use really fully, and you will sacrifice or you will kind of compromise on the things that, like, you know, you learn in your law college, which might actually contribute to the work that you're going to do. It will take you away from the options that you could have chosen, which would contribute to. You might have chosen to actually create, like, you know, or do dedicated research. You might have chosen to really go and maybe talk to some people in the law firms where you want to end, or the companies where you want to end, and find out where, you know, or what things are required. And you want to work in that duration on that. It will take you away from that, and you will have to work on papers which might not contribute at all to where you want to end. If you want to end up as a corporate lawyer in a law firm, or if you want to end up as an in-house legal counsel. Okay, so consider this. Okay, so think of that. It is structured knowledge, like many people are thinking that it is structured knowledge. It will put you into a discipline. But why don't you frame up a plan or a disciplined step-by-step way to go on your own, which will contribute to the way you want to work? Okay, you can find, or you can work with situations which are like that. You can frame plans like that, and you can stick to those plans. They're going to contribute to it. Okay, you will be taking yourself off that. You will be taking a chunk off that. The time, you will not give the time to that, and instead you will give time to these things which might not contribute, okay, to your position as a corporate lawyer. So think where you want to end. You want to end up as a company secretary in a company. You want to end up as a PCS. 110% go for this. Okay. So let's look at the next, which is really stuck. This is something that someone actually said. Just have a look at it. Okay, for a lawyer who is a part of the compliance function within the department. Many companies have legal plus compliance, and that's where, like, companies will be looking for having a CS qualification, because like CS qualification has the way the program is shaped, there is a dominance of compliance, because they want to develop the people in that, because that's going to be the role of the company secretary in the company. Okay. uh, it may have more utility. Okay, in-house lawyers are generally expected to have domain expertise, and see as a very limited application for regulatory compliance only. As leaders, GCs are now sitting at C level, and they manage boards through strategic initiatives. Okay, this requires broader business and commercial acumen. Also, the ability to influence definitely helps. Even GC who dons the hat of CS relies more on their legal and business experiences than their CS training. So you want to end up as a GC and CS, you will be able to sit on the boards for sure. Okay. You will be named company secretary. Many companies will have GCs who are the named company secretary. The work actually is done by people who are junior to them and who are qualified company secretaries. That's the work done by them. But these people are GC plus CS. They are named company secretaries. Okay. So they will be able to sit in the board meeting. Okay. And they may be able to influence, and they may be able to do such kinds of things. But at the end of the day, okay, someone who is a GC, okay, are more required to rely on the legal and business experiences. That's where they get their importance from, rather than simply a CS training. And now this guy is saying, and this is someone's words. Okay, we have quoted this person who is a GC of one of these companies. Okay, he was saying that if I was a CEO and I was hiring a GC, it will not make much difference to me if a candidate has CS qualification. Okay, so if they have it or they don't have it, not much difference to me. That's what this guy is saying. And the final question, now this is something that people want to hear. What if I don't have a CS qualification? Will that make me worse off if my ambition is to be a GC? Do lawyers with CS qualification make better GCs? And a hopping 70.6% of the people that we interviewed who are the GCs of these companies said that they don't think so at all. If you don't have a CS qualification, it's not going to make a difference to them, which means you are kind of placed on par with someone who is a CS plus LLB, and you have just an LLB degree. Okay, if they believe that your CV has a lot of weight work-wise. Okay, this one can have a LLB plus CS degree. I had that. Okay, but the other CV has an LLB degree and a lot of relevant work experience. That works much better for these people than someone who has that degree, okay, and has, in fact, even has a CS experience. Doesn't work for them. This one works where it's a LLB degree and relevant law work experience. Okay. So that 77 top general counsels from some of the largest organizations saying that they did not feel that doing CS makes you a better candidate to be the top lawyer in the company. Like I said, they are weighing it like this. Someone with a CS plus LLB, okay, and even a CS experience, and someone who is just an LLB, but lot of relevant law work experience, that holds more weightage for them rather than this person. Okay. This is proved out of the survey. Now, what confuses people is because the reverse is true. Now, if you want to end up as a company secretary and you want to practice as a company secretary, it really might add up to your knowledge if you do law. Okay, because it will clarify your strategic concepts towards the compliance. You want to end up, your destination is a company secretarial role. Your destination is a PCS role. Law adds up to that. For sure, it adds up to that. Because you will get a really clear idea of, the strategy. You will get a very clear idea of the concepts in addition to the compliance and procedural part of it. It will definitely add up to your designation or your role as a CS. So when they are hiring CS, when they are hiring or when they are getting services from a PCS, definitely it adds up to them if they have a law degree as such. But when they are hiring a lawyer, it doesn't make any difference to them if they have a CS degree or not. Okay, this is something that I want to just, like, it is very clear from what we did, and it's also very clear from the experience. How can we do CS and LLB together? As per rules, we can't do anything professional course at the same time. No, you can do it afterwards. You can do, like, later on, not a problem. What do you mean by experience? Exactly, my experience is what I'm talking. And if you talk about, like, what is the relevant law experience? Yeah, it's what is the kind of work that you have crossed through and done through. Okay, have you done something to show to a person that I have actually delved into what is the kind of work that is done in this position, and I have tried, I have made an attempt to get into and learn that kind of work. Okay, however it may be by internships at some firms, it may be by, like, taking courses, it may be by doing a lot of deep research on your own and getting the things that are there. You will have to look for guidance. Okay, if you have guidance, you do things faster. If you do deep research on your own, it will take a little bit of time, but it is not a ruled out option anyway. Okay, so you do that, you find out exactly what is the work that is being done by these people, and you find out how to do that work. That holds far more weightage compared to you just having a degree, an additional degree. Okay, and even an experience in that other degree, which is the other part of it. Okay, because it doesn't match according to them. There are loads of questions. Should we do it just to be safe for future and to add up to our knowledge? So that is, okay, let me try to dispense each of the questions here. Okay, and each of the reasons that we do. Okay, doing it just because of your parents, your relatives said, okay, doesn't make sense unless it is going to be aligned with your goals or where you want to end up. Okay, that reason is not valid at all. It is not the right reason to take up the CS course. You're going to invest 3 crucial years of your life into it, a lot of time into it. Okay, so think, you can't be doing it just because someone says it is good. Okay, if you want to end up as a CS, you want to end up as a PCS, definitely do that. Because that's, like I said, your goal is aligned with the goals of the institute. It's going to train you, push you to do the work. Okay, so definitely do it when you want to end up as a CS in a company, when you want to end up as a PCS. You want to end up as a corporate lawyer in a law firm. Okay, this doesn't work. Okay, like I said, for the in-house, it doesn't work. For the law firm also, it doesn't work. Okay, it will not work for the law firms also, because they want people again who have done the relevant kind of work. They have found out what is the work that is done by the law firm, and then how are you going to learn to do that work. Okay, and how will you do that work? When they can see that in your CV, then you have a higher weightage. Similarly, for in-house counsels, when they can see that it is a relevant work or a relevant experience that you have done. Now, in my case, if I had actually worked with a lawyer and worked on drafting contracts or drafting certain things that this company actually wanted, if I had worked in maybe drafting the relevant kind of petitions, maybe advising strategically, I had worked with lawyers who had the relevant kind of work. I'd gone and done that, and I had found out what work that is there. Okay, I would have been taken. But there was nothing to show on that count. All I had was a law degree and a CS degree and an experience in the CS one. So there was nothing to show on that count. So naturally, then they said that even if we take you, we are going to have to give you the experience. Okay, that's why your salary works out to be very much lower than what you are drawing even currently. Okay, lots of things in the chat. So I actually just need to focus on getting a LLB degree for becoming a corporate lawyer. Yes, and gaining the requisite experience. Okay, doing diploma certificate courses with LLB degree, pursuing CS if one wants to land in a law firm. You can look for diplomas, you can look for courses, you can look for where you want to end up, what is the work that those people do. They are doing M&A deals, they are strategizing that. For that, what is it that you need to understand and learn? Okay, they are doing in the in-house roles, they are actually working on drafting a lot of contracts, agreements, they are looking at planning or structuring certain transactions. Okay, now how do you learn that? How do you work on that? That is what you have to work on, or that is what you have to find out, because it is relevant for the people when they are hiring you. How to get requisite experience, that's the next step that people will ask. Okay, you have to aim at internships which focus you like that. You will have to aim at courses which will kind of simulate or train you. You will have to, you can do the research yourself, and you can find out, and you can think, you can take guidance from people, like, and in LawSikho, this one thing is something that I can assure: no one is going to deny mentoring you, or no one is going to deny counseling you just because you're not going to take up the course. Never, never, never it happens. Okay, you apply for counseling, you want counseling with LawSikho, and then say that you want to end up or get experience in a particular area. People can help you set up a track or a path. Okay, that this is the path you need to take step by step wise. Now I can't discuss this broadly for everybody here in this session, because you may be looking to end up differently, you may have different situations, you may be at different stages in your career, you may be at different years, you may have done it from different law schools, everything will be different, but you have individual counseling available. So it's not that you don't take up the course with LawSikho, people will deny you. No way it will happen. You can check, and they will set up a path for you, that this is the track path, or this is the track, or this is the path you can take, and you can work towards that yourself. You can take up the course if you want it. You cannot, you can build yourself and do the research and work through it if you want that. Okay, but there is counseling available, and you can take that, and it will help you chart a path or a track for you to where you want to end up. Okay, what are the other questions? Should we do it just to be safe for future and to add up to our knowledge? See, this is another question, like, how to decide on which internship is worth is. All of these counseling can be available for free. You can reach out to the people. You can reach out to me also, no problem. But we can talk of where you are right now, where you want to reach, and how to chart out a path to that place. You don't want to do it in a situation where, like, everybody else is doing it, so I want to do that. Okay. Future of CS role. If you are portal for counseling on LawSikho website, there is a number, there is a WhatsApp group that I'm going to join you into, that I'm going to give you the link of. You can join in that, and you can request to their request there. How a 50-year law student pursuing CS, cleared CA foundation, but lacked motivation and time to clear executive. Continue focusing on CS if I want to end up as a corporate lawyer. I think I already answered that question. You are doing it as a financial backup choice. I will tell you, you will struggle with that also. How will you struggle with that? Because you have done lawyering all your life. You have done drafting and everything all your life. You haven't had any experience as a qualified company secretary in any company, and you're going to go to a role. Okay, naturally someone who has had the experience as a company secretary in few companies will take the cake out of it. So this uncertainty that you're facing, that what if I don't earn, you got to change it, or you got to work on it by your research to find out what should I do that my employer is looking for, rather than saying that should I do a degree, or should I do this law or that law, or should I do this course. What am I going to do that I will know things in advance for what my employer is looking for, and where do you want to end up. Okay, there are law firms that you want to end up. You can find what department you want to end up in. Okay, which are the law firms that you really want to end up in, And this is not something that, they have a vacancy, you apply for it and you get the job. It never happens like that. It is always a journey. I mean, just think of it. You want to end up at a hill station. Okay, 1 month before that, you will have to book, or even if you're looking at train tickets, you'll have to book 3-4 months in advance. Okay, for where you want to go. You will have to make sure you have the requisite warm clothes to land into that hill station. You're going to prepare yourself thoroughly in that 2 to 3 months to be capable to land at that place, isn't it? So it's not going to happen that you apply to that place and just it happens. You have to take that period of 2 to 3 months to really work and prepare where you want to land up. Okay, you have to find out who are the people there. You have to find out what each of them is doing in the role. Okay, and we are doing like, LawSikho for this month, December. Absolutely loads of webinars and loads of information, loads of emails. This is all free, totally telling you about like, what is a work done and how you can learn that. Okay, how are you going to learn that? The whole of this month is like that. Whole of December is like that. Completely we are focusing. Me, Abhyuday, Ramanuj, we're all focusing on giving this out completely to you. You can like, look at attending, you can chart out and you can plan based on that. Okay, 3-4 months back, before even you apply, before even a position arises there, you're starting to prepare for that. Okay, that's when you get success. It will not be like, hundreds or 200s of CVs and yours. How will you distinguish yourself? Because you've been preparing 3-4 months in advance for that. Okay, right. Loads of questions here still. 5th year student want to pursue CS. Should I enroll for CS Foundation? Should I wait for my final degree, which I will receive by April 2021? If foundation is speeding up, you want to end up as a company secretary, definitely foundation is speeding up and enabling you to reach your end. So do it, right? You would end up as a corporate lawyer. Then think of why you are doing that at all in the first place. A few chats. Lovely. WhatsApp link for LawSikho's. People are asking future of CS role. So at that position or that degree has its own validity. Okay, you can't compare lawyers and you can't compare. People do that, like, from earnings perspective, that lawyers are earning higher, or like, but it is both of them are at their own place. Okay, so you can, if you have CS also, you have lots of options. You can work as a KMP of a large listed company. You can be functioning as an insolvency professional. Okay, you have lots of options. You can be conducting secretarial audit for lots of entities. It has its own importance and it has its own role. But if you want to end up as a corporate lawyer, then that's not the route. It's a different path. It's a different route. Okay. The question is a little bit of topic. LawSikho is also providing a course on SEBI, Grade A officer. I was wondering whether LawSikho provides any course for CLAT LLM entrance exam. Shweta Devgan is the person to reach out to. Okay, Shweta Devgan, look up Shweta Devgan on LinkedIn, reach out to her, she will help you. WhatsApp link for LawSikho's counseling program. Let's do that. Okay, that's very important. So the results are very clear. We already had this discussion. These are a few webinars that I'm going to be doing. Ramanuj is also doing a lot of webinars. Abhyuday is going to do a lot of webinars. So you can like, and quite a few of these are on this bent. Okay, that how can you end up as a corporate lawyer? Lots of things in the chat. Completed my graduation with economics, thinking of doing a 3-year law. Is it equally valuable like the 5-year course for doing corporate law? See, again, I will come to you is that you have to again chart out any degree or any studies based on where you want to end up and is it going to land you there faster. It does not, in my opinion, it does not matter if it is a 3-year course or a 5-year course. It does not matter. It also does not matter so much if it is from an NLU or from a non-NLU. And we're going to discuss that on 15th of December. Okay, it doesn't matter. I like Ramanuj has written a whole free ebook on it. You can download it from the 𝘠𝘯-𝘂𝘀𝑉 website. So all these things don't make a difference. What makes a difference is that where you're going to end up, do you have appropriate things to show for that? And how do you get the appropriate skills? How do you get to know the work? And how do you show that you have that work and skills to the person? All of these things are what makes a difference. And that's the counseling you can get. If you get into this WhatsApp group, this is the link. Okay. I can copy this link in the chat. That's my LinkedIn. It's not very necessary. Why does the question answer open? What if someone is doing CS just to gain in-depth knowledge of subjects? Because I think I already answered this. I already answered this. You may not be getting it in your college. You may not be getting it in your college, but you will have to do things in the CS which don't end up, okay, to your role of the corporate lawyer. So find out where you are going to get it other than the college. Okay. What should you take up? What is the research you should pick up? What is the area you should pick up? How do you actually gain knowledge in that? And there will be loads of courses also. It's not just 𝘠𝘯-𝘂𝘀𝑉, you will have loads of other courses. I'll post the link in the chat. So many people asking that. Let me do that. Okay. This is the WhatsApp link. You can take and you can join this. Here you go. That's your WhatsApp link. I'll keep it for a couple of minutes if you want to join. If you have any questions, you need guidance on where to go about it, you can actually look to reach me out, reach Ramanuj out. You can look at our website. There are numbers and there are contact details for counseling. You can reach out to us for sure. Okay. You mentioned about MNCs. Do you think CS will be helpful? Like MNCs, we're going to talk about it a little later. I have it here. Okay. How can I land a legal job with an MNC? 14 December. Come at that time. We're going to talk about MNCs. There are lots of people raising hands. Where have you sent the link? I've sent it in the chat here. Can you see? chat.whatsapp.com. It's in the chat box. It's sent to, okay, let me copy it once again. And see if you can see it now. Yeah, I probably sent it to the panelists by mistake, which is why you can't see it. Here it is. Now, can you see it? Everyone can see the link, the WhatsApp link? Yeah. So that's the link. You can take it. You can ask for counseling. Okay. Brilliant. So I hope you got some degree of clarity, okay, on where you want to end up and whether the CS degree is going to contribute to that or not. Okay, whatever your views of the webinar were, please put down on your social media, or you can write to us. You can put it in this WhatsApp group also as you join. Okay, so let me know if you achieved clarity on the topic that we had. Will CS help me to get a corporate law job in India? This is what we were looking to arrive at. Did you get clarity on that? And was this session able to help you on that? Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. I think we'll end the session now. And tonight at 9, you have Ramanuj talking about the agricultural reforms and what kind of contracts or lots of work that corporate lawyers can get from the change in the agricultural reforms, from the change that happened. Okay, so do attend that. Thank you so much, everybody, and good night. Bye. Thanks, Vikash. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye-bye.